Thank you guys so much for connecting this morning.
Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah. Favor gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Something good.
Morning, Drika. How are you? We'll be getting started in just a couple minutes. We'll give a few people time to log on. Good morning, Miss Sandra. So glad to have you with us this morning. I pray that you guys had a great week on last week and a great weekend as well.
Yesterday's gone and a new day has appeared, and I'm grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah. Favor gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Something good gonna happen in this year, and I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone.
Good morning, Linda Lewis.
And I'm grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna find
Thank you so much for connecting with us, LL.
favor gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I miss money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Something good gonna happen in this year, and I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone and a new day has appeared, and I'm grateful that I made it.
We'll give it about another
Blessings gonna find me.
minute or so. We'll go ahead and get started.
Favor gonna find me.
I pray that all of you guys again have had a great week, a great weekend so far. Getting ready to get fueled up for the upcoming week. We only have a few left in this year.
Something good gonna happen in this year, and I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone and a new day has appeared, and I'm grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna
Good morning, Miss Hoy. Thanks for connecting this morning. Hey, you guys, if you haven't already, early voting has started. If you plan to vote, it's probably best to go ahead and get it done early.
Something good gonna happen in this year.
Yeah, go ahead and get that done early. I can imagine on the 5th, the lines are going to be phenomenal. Good morning, Cam from ATL. I hope you chilling, brother. Good morning, Lucy. Thanks so much for connecting with us this morning.
Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah. Favor gonna find me here.
TJ, what's going on, man?
I miss money gonna find me here.
So good to see you here with us this morning.
Gonna find me here. Oh na na
Pastor Ransom, good morning to you.
good gonna
I know you're having a good morning, Pastor. Colorado did their thing last night.
grateful that I made it here.
JG, Good morning, Jeremy.
has appeared,
Um,
and I'm
Gwen, good morning, sis.
that I
Love
made
you.
it. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah, favor gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, say money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na
Okay, I
na
think we're
na
gonna go ahead
na
and get
na.
started. Yeah, so like I was saying, go ahead and vote. Do your early voting if it's possible for you to do it. I think it's gonna beat a lot of the traffic on the fifth and whatever else may come with that. We just have no idea, considering all that's going on surrounding the race for presidency. In addition to that, we only have a few more weeks left in this year. So, you guys don't give up on your goals. Keep pressing towards them. The best way to go into a new year is with momentum. And so I want to encourage you guys to make sure that you are trying to maintain or keep the momentum that you've been running with throughout the year. If you haven't been running with a great momentum, it's time to pick it up. It's better to go into a new year with momentum than trying to jumpstart it at the beginning of the year. So let's remember that and let's do that. And we're in the time of year where most people experience seasonal depression. I want you guys to be aware of that. It's just something, a spirit that comes over the atmosphere during this time of year, and it's pretty serious. And so I want you guys to be aware of that. And if you feel yourself slipping, reach out for help. I want you to pray, but also reach out for help, whether it's me or a close friend or family member, someone that you trust, your therapist, or whomever it is that you have in your life. Reach out to them. Don't allow it to settle all the way in. Usually, you can feel it coming on, and when you start feeling it coming on, go ahead and reach out to someone. And if you don't have anyone, go ahead and start looking for a therapist or someone to have in the pocket, whether it's a therapist or a life coach or whomever you have, a counselor, whomever it is that you have access to. Go ahead and access them and have them ready so that when that time or if that time comes for you this year during the season, you will have someone in place. Most of it comes as a result of the pressure to appeal to a society around us, and we look at what's going on in society and what's going on in our lives, and we get discouraged and just really displaced. But I want you guys to make sure that you are not allowing that to happen to you and your loved ones as well. Also, be aware of that going on with your children. They may not be able to articulate it, but they're still subject to it as well. So make sure that you keep your antennas up and you're aware of what season is up on us, and you can stay on top of that. I do have something that I want to share this morning, and I had a couple passages of scriptures that I'm going to read. Well, I was going to read. I'll just give you guys a general synopsis of what I was going to read about. And you all are familiar with this. There's a scripture in the Bible talking about putting on the whole armor of God. And it talks about the helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, loins girded about with the truth, shield of faith, sword of the spirit, feet shod in the preparation of the gospel of peace. All this stuff, it gives you this armor, spiritual armor, to put on to make sure you're clothed with. Then there's other passages that speaks about putting off the old man and putting on the new man, which is made in the image and the righteousness of God. So it's talking about apparel. It's talking about this wardrobe that you should take off and put on in a few different passages of scripture here in the New Testament. And so this morning I want to talk about that because I want to talk about a little bit from a little bit more of a simple perspective. During this time of year, when the temperatures generally begin to cool off, we begin to change out from our summer, fall wardrobes into our winter wardrobe. And the winter wardrobe is usually layered, right? You might have a shirt with a Oxford shirt with a sweater on over it, or you know how we do it in the wintertime. And so you're dressed and you have layers to your wardrobe. I think that one of the things that we have to be aware of when it comes to us personally being able to put on the armor of God, or the garments of God, the garments of praise for the spirit of heaviness and all this other stuff. I think that we have to make sure that we're not layering them, right? When I say layering them, we try to put things on over things that we already have on, right? It's like if you would get up and go to get dressed, but you still have your sleep loungewear on, and you just put your clothes on top of that. That's not a good idea. And I don't think you will feel as comfortable as you would if, in fact, you would take your sleepers off and then get dressed. And so it's important that we understand that we must take off something if it is that you're trying to put on something else. You must take off something. And so I want to give you a couple of layers that I believe that you should really make sure that you are removing before you try to put on these other things. And when I say remove before you put the other things on, I'm saying the simplest way that I know how, it's like when you try to put on a smile, but on the inside, you're still boiling mad about something, or terribly worried about something, but you try to put a smile on over it. Putting that smile on over what you're feeling internally really intensifies what's already going on internally. And that almost feels worse than just dealing with what you have going on internally. And so, this is what I mean. So, in order for us to be able to be refreshed and feel refreshed and feel great as we put on the garments of God, and we put on the fruit of the Spirit of God, we have to take some things off. The first thing I want to say is that you should take off the offenses and the frustrations that we take on from the actions of other people on a daily basis. Every morning when you wake up, or every night before you go to bed, should I say, take off the offenses and the frustrations that you've put on, or that's been placed on you by the actions of others. It happens on a daily basis, not always with ill intentions from the other person or ourselves personally. We don't always like, yeah, I'm gonna carry this because I want to be mad, I want to be frustrated, I want to be offended. We don't always carry it, but we end up carrying it throughout the day. And so it's important that whenever you get ready to retire for the evening, every night, that you are searching yourself and saying, okay, what frustrated me today? What offended me today? Because I don't need to sleep with this on. You don't want to sleep with it on. You don't want it to take root in you. Because if in fact you allow it to take root in you, or you allow yourself to sleep or learn how to rest with that on, then the more likely you are to carry it for a general period of time. And the more you do it, the better you become at it. And before you know it, you've been walking around with offenses and frustrations with certain individuals about certain things that they've long forgotten about. And you have subconsciously forgotten about it. And you when something else happens, you're like a tick tick boom, ready to explode because you've been carrying this. And it's not that the last thing that you experienced was so great. It's just because you've never taken off the other things that you learned how to wear daily. So you want to take those things off, whether it has reference to something that's going on in your workplace or something that's going on in your social circles, something that's going on in your marriage, something that's going on in your parental relationships, or whatever it is. Try not to sleep with that on. If you can, go to bed with an intrusive thought prevailing in your mind and wake up with it and get right back to entertaining that thought, you have not done yourself due diligence to make sure that you are able to rest well, number one. And number two, you're training yourself how to carry things and how to hold grudges. You're training yourself how to walk in unforgiveness. You're training yourself how to carry things that you are not meant to carry. So, so because we live in a world with other people like ourselves that are imperfect, we're going to have these frustrations with other people because not everybody's going to move like you. Not everybody's going to think like you. Not everybody's going to respond or react the way that you will respond or react. And sometimes it is frustrating. Sometimes the way people move is so different until it becomes offensive. Sometimes they mean for it to be offensive, but other times they don't. Some people are just offensive in the way that they move. But you don't want to carry that. You don't want to carry that. You have to take that off at the end of every day. Whenever you're decompressing and you're centering yourself and your soul, you have to search yourself to see, okay, what frustrations, what offenses have I taken on from the actions of other people today? And you rid yourself of that. Don't allow anyone else's garments of frustration or offense become your own. I don't know about you, but I don't like to share my clothes. I don't like to share my garments, and neither should you share frustration and offenses with other people, especially if you don't like them. You shouldn't do that. The second thing is you have to remove any pain or disappointment that comes as a result of others not being able to meet your unspoken expectations. Did you hear that? I'm going to say it again. You have to be able to remove any pain and disappointment that comes from the result of others not being able to meet your unspoken expectations. Sometimes we're hurt and we're disappointed by others because we have a certain expectation of others, right? And when we have that expectation, we don't necessarily communicate it, we just expect it. And one of the biggest mistakes that we all are guilty of making is expecting to get you from someone else. No one else is you. You're not going to get you from anyone else. And to have that expectation is to set yourself up for disappointment. So you literally have to remove the pain and the disappointment that comes as a result of that, and go ahead and take accountability for yourself and say, you know what, I probably have this expectation of them that they don't have the capacity to fulfill. They don't have the capacity to fulfill. They can't do it the way that I would do it. They cannot do it the way that I would prefer it to be done, or they won't approach it the way that I would approach it. And for me to be hurt by that and or disappointed by that is not fair to me, and neither is it fair to them. because they can't. And when you're considering things like this, you also have to know, you have to know what people can do and be and what they can't. Some people just can't be certain things to you. This is why it's important that you never expect any one individual to be everything that you need. I don't think there's anyone on this planet that's ever found a one-stop shop outside of God himself. God is everything we need. You will not find everything you need in anyone else. And to allow yourself to continue to be hurt and disappointed by that is somewhat of your own negligence. And some of that pain and disappointment is self-inflicted, because at a certain point in life, you have to realize what the play is and make the adjustment. And say, okay, I've got to adjust my expectation from them so that I won't be disappointed by the way that they move. So I won't be hurt by anything that they may say or do. And I'm not putting past anyone anything that they may not have the capacity to fulfill. I'm not going to put it past them. I'm not going to put that responsibility on them. This is what I would like. All I could do is voice it. If I voice it, they may consent to it and still not be able to do it. Everyone that's ever been in any type of serious relationship, you have those talks and you pour your heart out and say, I just don't like when you do this, and can you just work on this? And with all sincerity, your response, your answer is yes, I can work on that. I can do that. And you walk out of the room and 15 minutes later, they doing the same thing and you just want to smash your head into the wall or theirs. And I believe that when they said, yes, I'll work on that, I believe that it was sincere, but they did not have the capacity at that time to do it. Not to say they can't work to that place, but they may not have the capacity to do it in the timely fashion that you would prefer, or that you may be able to do it. If the truth be told, none of us can meet the expectations of anyone else every single time. You're going to disappoint, and your disappointments can be painful. Yours, whether it's of your own actions to someone else or someone else's actions towards you, it can and will happen. And so the next thing is, don't allow your personal failures to consume or torment your mind more than the corrective measures, right? You got to take this off. It's nothing wrong with going back and looking at what you got wrong, but don't dwell on what you got wrong. Don't dwell on what you failed at or what you failed at personally. You dwell on the corrective measures. When you go back, when you're able to look back and in retrospect and hindsight, you can see, okay, I messed up right there. Don't dwell on the fact that you messed up. At that point, you begin to meditate upon the corrective measure and see exactly what needs to happen in order for you to correct that mistake or to correct the thing that caused you to fail. You take corrective measures. You don't continue to dwell on and allow your failures to consume your mind and torment your mind, because you can go 3 months. I think that's part of the healing process, especially when there's a breakup in a relationship, because, most of the time, at some point during a breakup, both parties find themselves the victim of the other partner, right? So I can't believe I let them do this to me. I can't believe I let them do that to me. I can't believe I was just a fool. I was just this. I was just that. I can't believe that he thought. I can't believe that she thought. You can go through that all you want to, and that stuff is tormenting, and it only inflicts further pain to the heart and damage to the heart. You can look at what you didn't get right, and also in the same instance, look at what you could have or should have done to correct that so that you won't have to experience it anymore. But these are things that are within our control. You don't need anyone else to do this for you. You can look at anything that was wrong. Because now watch this. Whenever you realize that you failed or you made a mistake or you've done something wrong, the only reason why you are able to realize that it was wrong is in the company or the presence of what is right. If you're doing wrong and you never see nor come into the knowledge of right, to you, you're not doing anything. So when you're doing something wrong, the only way you can know that you're doing something wrong is that you recognize that there's a right way to do it. So you can meditate on the corrective measures. If you realize that you failed at something, the only reason why you're able to realize that you failed at something is because it has been revealed that it was a failure. And so based upon that revelation, that is what you meditate on. That's what you study. That is where you course correct based upon that, not based upon what you got wrong. You don't continue to allow your mind to be consumed with that and lose significant amounts of time saying, I can't believe that I did this. I can't believe that I didn't do that. Believe it. Get over it. Correct it. It's not fair to you. And it's not fair to the people around you that believe in you, that you would just lay down in a failure and allow yourself to be consumed. I promise you, we all personally think about our failures more than other people. We do. And you think that everybody's looking down on you and everybody's got an opinion about you. Maybe they do. But I promise you that lifespan is very short. And they have an opinion for a short time. And before you know it, they have an opinion about something else. And so when you get stuck there, you're doing yourself an injustice. You're doing more harm to yourself than what their opinion can do. Because their opinion doesn't have the power to do what it is that you can do through corrective measures. And their opinion don't have the power to do to you what your own mind can do to you. The mind is not on anybody's team at certain times. That's why the Bible tells us to be renewed in our mind. Because if you don't renew your mind ain't playing on nobody's team. The same mind that tell you God been too good for you to be acting like that, that same mind that tell you it don't pay to try to be right because people gonna do what they gonna do anyway. Everybody else doing it. That same mind, that mind is not on anybody's team. That mind ain't playing for nobody. It ain't claiming no sets, no squads, no hoods, no nothing. That mind is just out there doing what it do. And your mind can do more damage and harm to you than anyone else's opinion. So make sure that you're not allowing your mind to work in that manner. But you are allowing your mind and you're training and disciplining your mind to work in your favor because your mind can do more good to you than anyone else can do. Yes, your mind can actually prepare a place for the peace of God that surpasses understanding. Your mind can prepare a place for you to receive better than what you've experienced in the past. But the mind prepares you for that. The mind prepares you for greatness. The mind prepares you for success. You can take the training classes, you can take all the courses, you can get the degrees, but if the mind is not prepared for it, you won't be able to handle it. So that's why you have to make sure that you understand the power of the mind and you don't allow the mind, if the mind is functioning and operating on a course that is more tormenting than encouraging, that's when you have to renew your mind. The scripture says, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. You gotta have a different mind, and sometimes the mind needs to be renewed and it needs to be refreshed. I like this next one. Live in your truth, but don't become a prisoner of that truth if you desire more than what your current truth is offering. Okay? Live in your truth, whatever your truth is, live in it. But don't become a prisoner of that if you have a desire for more than what your current truth is offering you. The truth is, you are where you are in life right now, financially, economically, according to your relationship status, according to your professional status. You are where you are. Live in that truth. But if that truth is not your greatest desire, don't become a prisoner of it and say, well, it is what it is. I mean, I'm just here. I might as well get used to it. You don't have to do that. You can still aspire for higher. You can still desire more. You can still dream bigger dreams. Even though your current truth is what it is, you don't have to be a prisoner. It's not locked. You're not locked into that. You're not locked into that. Your truth can change because we change truths all the time. There was a truth when all of us thought getting a job working in the mall was cool as a kid. But the truth changed whenever we got older, and we realized that working in the mall, that's not it. You want to work in the shopping mall? Remember when we were teenagers, we used to want to work at McDonald's and Burger King. It was cool back then. Now somebody told you that was your only option. I can imagine what some of y'all do. My Lord, take me out. I'm ready to come home, Jesus. But there was a time when that was your truth. You desired that. And it was sufficient for you. But thank God you didn't become a prisoner of that truth. And you desired more than what your truth was offering you at that time. And as a result of that, you were able to experience a greater truth in your now. So live in your truth, but don't be a prisoner of it. Don't be a prisoner of it. You don't have to be a prisoner of your truth. And so, in case in point, what we're facing here in this election season is our truth. But you don't have to be a prisoner of it. Because whenever you go to the polls to vote, you're voting for a president, not a savior. You're voting for a president. You're not voting for a provider. You're not voting for a Messiah. Just a president. So you don't have to be a prisoner of the truth that there are some issues on both sides, the red side and the blue side. There's some concerns on both sides, the red side and blue side, but you're not voting for them to be who God is for you. And if you are connecting your destiny to the Oval Office, then you've already been misplaced, or you've already misplaced your destiny in your security. Our anchor is not in our vote. Our anchor is in God. Man, ooh, that felt right when I said that. Our anchor is in God. It's not in the government. So you're just casting a vote. Understand. That's it. And so the current truth is those are our only options. But we are not prisoners of that truth. We're not prisoners of it. We do not have to be subject to the outcome of any policy plans that anyone has. We never have had to be. God has always been better to us than our government. Always. So what's different this term? I don't know. Just say it. You don't have to be a prisoner of your current truth. Live in it. Live in it. Know your truth. I'm not saying deny the truth. Know it, but don't be a prisoner of it. Especially when there's a truth in you that's greater than the one that you're currently experiencing. And as the children of God, we have a deeper truth in us than the truth about who it is that is running for the Oval Offices. I'm not going to start talking politics, but I just wanted to put that in there. It seemed like a really cool insert. We're just about out of time, so check this out. Take off the burdens of the people around you, even the ones that you love the most. All right. So this one is very complex because whenever we love genuinely, we love deeply, and we love hard. And it is nearly, not totally, nearly impossible not to carry the burdens of the people that you love. But every day, you have to find a way to get those burdens to the Lord. And in many cases, you have to carry them there yourself. You take your burdens to God. You do not allow your burdens or the burdens of other people to weigh you down to the point that you're unable to be the best version of who you are to you and before Him. It's okay to carry the burden of your loved ones, even your children. Even your children. It's okay to take those burdens to the Lord. I know we used to think a long time ago that I can't wait until these children get grown and on their own. Let me tell you something. The older they get, the heavier their burdens become, especially the ones that we carry as parents. I used to think back about 20-something years ago when I was pastoring. I used to pray for people and encourage them at the altar. And it was like, you're that son, that daughter. You got to give them to God. Just give them to God. And that is so easy to say. And it's so hard to do. I know you're worried about your husband, but God got him. Just give him to God. I know you're worried about your wife, but God got her. Just give her to God. That stuff sound good and preach good from the pulpit too. But that is a very hard thing to do, because somehow, some way, our love become tied to their burdens. Our love tie us to their burdens. And that is our desire to see them better than what they are, for our desire to see them not having to carry or deal with certain things. But if in fact you are not taking off those burdens, by the time your own come, you will be walking around in the spirit of heaviness, not because you cannot carry your burdens. Because remember, God will not put more on you than you can bear. So when the spirit of heaviness is upon you, it's not because of your own personal burdens. It's because there's some layers underneath, some burdens that belong to other people and possibly the people that you love the most that you're carrying also. That's when it becomes too heavy. But God has been faithful to his word. He's not going to put more on you than you can bear, but you can put more on yourself than you can bear. Of course, we want to be Superman and Superwoman for the people that we love. But that's not always the reasonable thing to do. That's not always in the best interest of your mental, physical, and spiritual health. Sometimes you got to preserve you so that you can be there for them. Did you hear what I said? You have to preserve you so that you can be there for them. But if you're overtaken by their burden, how can you assist them? So as you prepare yourself to put on the garments of God and put on the garments of praise and put on the whole armor of God, make sure that you're stripping yourselves of these things that we've talked about this morning. Take off those things before you try to put anything on over them, because they're going to be counterproductive. Again, I'll liken it until trying to put on a smile over fear or pain or offense. So make sure that you're taking these things off so that whenever you're spiritually dressing yourself according to the will of God, you'll be able to move and have fluency and effectiveness and impact in everything that you do. Every single day, you got to do it. Get undressed every single day before you get dressed. All right? I hope that I've shared something this morning that have encouraged you. And I want you guys to really meditate on these things. If you have to go back and watch the video again, by all means, go back and watch the video again. I also want to ask you to take a moment before you continue your day and go and make a donation. Those of you who have been here, you know how to do it. If not, reach out to us and we can get that information to you. But please go and make a donation. If you're being blessed by these sessions weekly, please consider making a donation today. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to share another 45 minutes of your life with you. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly at all. I love you all, and I bid you all blessings and Godspeed, and we will see you next week.
And I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone and a new day has appeared. And I am grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah. gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, say money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here.
Thanks a lot, Larry. Love you too, Linda.
Something good gonna happen in this year, and I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone, and a new day has appeared, and I am grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah, favor gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, say money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh na 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 na. Something good gonna happen in this year, and I am grateful that I made it here. Yesterday's gone, and a new day has appeared, and I am grateful that I made it here. Blessings gonna find me here. Oh yeah, favor gonna find me here. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, say money gonna find me here. Blessings gonna find me here.